Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of Star Wars Galaxies. And today, we have an Empire to build. So, I've been doing some setup while I was waiting, getting things ready. And first thing I did, just to clear up the clutter, I got rid of my old house that was here because I'm probably going to need the slots. Now, the other thing I did, we'll go check out here in a sec. As soon as my bike appears. And I can get into what has been going on. So, our goal with this character is to be a weaponsmith and an armorsmith. And in order to do that, we need a significant amount of resources. Approximately 500,000 steel. So we're going to do it the hard way. I'd rather do that than spend 700,000 credits on the easy way, which I really don't consider to be much easier regardless. So that means we're going to make about 100,000 barrels. And in order to accomplish that fact, I've set up this mineral mining installation to gather steel. So we will operate our machinery, and our resource disappeared. So let's see what other resources are out here. There's an aluminum, and there's a steel that kind of sucks. So we're going to actually collect the aluminum because reasons. But we got 20,000. And can't forget to turn it on. Alright. So I'll get some aluminum. It's a metal. I'm sure we could do something with it. I'm good with that. We may have to buy some steel and whatnot resources. But I've done a little bit of decorating, but not a whole lot. So I'll take you around and show you what we got going on. Oh, and I did train novice armorsmith and novice weaponsmith. So we have the basics of our skills down. Now, like anything in Star Wars Galaxies, there is absolutely no reason whatsoever for us to try to sell anything we make not at master. It's just not gonna happen. But so first thing I did, I hung one of my posters, and I dropped our little choku down, and that's pretty much it. I haven't really done much. I'm not sure what style I want to do this in, but this would be our store when things finally get rocking and rolling, and all of our storage is downstairs. But as an artisan, we need to finish surveying. So that is what we're going to do today. We're going to get some surveying in. And in order to survey, we need to pick our survey tool. And I've shown this before, but it's been a while. So I'll go through the steps just so anybody who hasn't done it before knows how to do it. So I got our minerals survey device. We're going to put it up on our hotbar so we don't have to keep opening our inventory. And I've already set the range for it, which is very basic because we have no skill. So we're setting our range. Under tool options, set range, we have one range, 64 meters is what we can scan. So we'll do our scan. And I am still looking for steel. So let's see if we can find anything worthwhile, because might as well pick up what we need. And that is nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. And again, might come back to that one. I think it was this one. Might have been this one. Okay, so I was wrong. There we go. All right, so with our limited scanning range, we have actually scanned and found that it is most plentiful. And here's where the highest point is. It makes a waypoint. So we're going to go to that waypoint. And then we're going to scan again. Let's see if we can improve on that. And we've got another resource survey over here, which puts us in the 26% range, which is not really high enough for us to pick up anything. At this low skill, we're not going to get anything. And again, and we're getting better, 31%. And like I said, this is the life of an artisan. Going around, looking for resources, collecting, scanning, whatnot. Over here. We're gonna sip a little brandy. Get our brain going again. Because it uses mind to scan. Eventually we're going to reach a point where we're not gaining anything by doing this. But I'd like to see if we can break either midline 31 or break it. And it looks like we have reached the highest point because our resource survey did not move. So let's see if we've got enough to pull anything. I'm failing to locate samples, but at least it doesn't tell me my skill is too low to gather. But you don't get any points if you don't pull anything in. So that's Vamusa. And that's Vamusa. So we'll join these. What are you? Kyophane. And you can tell by the resource by looking at the resource type. So we know it is this type, and we can join it with the other ones that are the same type. I didn't get any. Great. You may need to pull iron. Okay, we're not going to get any of this. However, I know we're picking up 80-something% by our harvester. So, sad as I am, we'll go back there. And we'll get that aluminum. At least we know where it is. And at 80-something% is definitely high enough for us to get points for it. And fail rather unlikely. That doesn't make any sense. And fail less likely. That makes more sense. Obviously there's something over here. Maybe. I don't know if those are actually dead and not doing anything anymore or what. Now, when resources shift, it's always a pain in the butt because you lose the resource that you were harvesting and it does not move to another resource. So you're stuck. You basically do nothing. Your harvester keeps moving. So visually, it would appear as doing something. So there's 2 aluminums. 88% over here we can do. Let's see if we can beat that. I doubt we're going to get much higher, and I don't want to go up on that ridge because it gets a little rough up there sometimes. But this is generally okay over here. We could min-max this all day long, but we are ideally where we should be. All right, so let's take a look at this aluminum that we're picking up. And I'll go over this again so that people who aren't familiar with crafting can understand how it works. Or if it's always been a mystery to you. So this is the condition. It's usually 1,000 over 1,000. I've rarely ever seen a container of resources damaged. This is how much we have, or the number of them we have, so volume of 1, so 1 of 1. This is the type of resource, so this is its name, Brewisis, and this is the quantity of the resource. So what we have when I'm looking at it is 4 out of 100,000, so we can stack it in stacks of 100,000. Weight doesn't make any difference, so I can walk around with 100,000 units of aluminum in my backpack, and it only takes up 1 slot. Resource class. It is a chromium aluminum, which comes in handy when you do advanced crafting because different resource classes are used in different applications. And I may have some of those I can show you, so I'll look at those once we get done with this. But these are the properties of the item. It has a cold resistance of 410, conductivity of 468, decay resistance of 249, heat resistance of 443, malleability of 623, and overall quality of 896, which actually sounds like a good thing, but it's not necessarily the most important thing. Shock resistance of 510, and a unit toughness of 581. Okay, so let me open up a recipe. And we'll pick something. Maybe we got something in Novice Weaponsmith that uses Blade Vibro Unit. I think that uses it. Okay. Even though it doesn't use the specifics, I can explain what those numbers do. I'm going to bring it up so that it is in front of us because it has most of the properties that we're going to be looking at. So this Blade Vibro Unit, which is used for making melee weapons, requires a specialized crafting tool, which means we need to use our weapon droid and general crafting tool, which I don't have any on me. They look like cheese graters. So we're going to use our cheese grater on it. But that means we can, if we're near a crafting station when we make it, we can actually experiment on it and improve the quality. It requires 15 units of steel, 10 units of solid petrochem fuel, 8 units of copper, and 1 vibro blade unit enhancement, which amplifies the abilities of the base unit as a buff, basically, that you craft into it. So something that would be useful for this would be some kind of with clothing, it's bioengineered tissues that you put in to add properties to it. With these, it's usually monster parts that add to it. But this tells us what the most important things are. So the damage and the attack speed come from unit toughness 100%. So if we look down here for unit toughness, this is 591 out of 1,000. So it's about a 50%. So we're going to suffer by using this. Let's see if the steel's any better. No, it is a worse unit toughness. But this ore has an 880 unit toughness. So this would be better to overcome these in the experimental damage. However, we have to use a, I think steel for this. But everything is unit toughness. So finding something with the highest unit toughness you could possibly find would be great. And I don't think I can craft and... I guess I can. Okay. So this knife is a one-handed melee weapon. And these are the properties that fall into making it. Shock resistance appears to be the most important thing. So if we click on steel, you can see we're about 50%. So 515, which is our shock resistance, times 100% is 515, which is almost a little bit more than half. This steel has a shock resistance of, what is that, 838. So the average value of this is 838. Now this becomes more complex when two different things affect a particular aspect of this. Now when we get down here to this petrochem that it needs, petrochem has a shock resistance of 842. This one has a shock resistance of 842. They're probably the same thing. They are. So we'll join them. So if I use this, that means I have a very good chance of getting a very fast and powerful dagger. Now we'll do some experimentation later when I actually start crafting things. But that's the basics of crafting, is trying to min-max those values. And if you're using 2 or more values to get your statistics on your item up, like this 895 and this 514, if it uses decay resistance and malleability, well, we'd need to find something that had a better average than that, because almost 900 and just slightly over 500 definitely does not give us the best results. The best ideal results would be to find something that was all 1000s. And yes, it is possible, but it's extremely unlikely. I believe it happened in live once, where everything spawned with all 1000s, and the god resources dominated the server for a while until people started using them up. Unfortunately, they passed out tickets where you could get any resource you wanted that had ever spawned in the game. And some of the people who have played the game forever knew what to ask for. So, and we are 372 of 500 for surveying, and then we will move up. But yep, this is what an artisan does. We gather resources, we make things, and then we sell them to you, the players. And a lot of that is using harvesters, like our mineral mining installation over here behind me. A lot of it is buying resources at good prices. But since we're just going to basically make our way through, force our way through, we're going to make, I believe we're going to make blaster barrel pistols, which take blaster barrel pistols, metal, gemstone, and metal. I think there's a rifle barrel too, but I don't know that we can make it yet. Doesn't look like we can make it yet. So I think we need to get a skill before we can do that. But we can make, projectile pistol barrels, steel and metal. That's what we want. The more resources an item takes, the more experience you get. Doing it in practice mode gets you even more experience. But using 26 units of resources will probably get us 42 experience when we create it. And we need 35,000 in order to get one box at the first level, and 77,000 to get the top level. So we're going to make a lot of crap. And that's just practice. That's not even selling anything yet. And this is pretty much how it goes. You sample, you sample, you sample. Eventually an event will happen to make sure that we're not macro sampling, but honestly it's easy to defeat with a macro, so obviously I'm not macro sampling here because I'm talking to you, but I know people that can do it and they actually have accounted for the events in their macro. It's amazing what the macro system in this game can do. I wish more MMOs had this complexity to them in their macro systems. It's a blessing and a curse. The amount of things it can allow you to do and the amount of things it lets you get away with. What mail do we have? Just our structure being built. Might as well sort our inventory while we're here. And I used our backpacks to store resources. So that's pretty much where those went. So we're going to have to make another backpack. I'm okay with that though. And again, there are a lot of devices you can use to sample things. You can sample wind, you can sample water, you can sample minerals, you can sample flora, you can sample gas pockets, you can sample solar energy or chemicals. So that gets you a lot of options on what you can look at. But right now we need metal and steel. So I'm okay with that. And the 30,000 steel we picked up, if we actually pick up 30,000 metal, that'll get us maybe 2 level 1 boxes in weaponsmithing. So, not terribly far. But that's okay. Patience is a virtue. And then we're going to get into the marketing, and we'll see if we can develop a following as an artiste for people to come shop at our store. I don't know that we'll be successful because there are a bunch of malls around, and we could join a mall. But I have not had really good luck with the malls around. So they shut down very fast and the people disappear and you lose your inventory and all your money, which is what happened last time. So I'm going to do this by myself. And I'm going to cough, so I'm going to mute this. Hopefully that worked. And we're almost there. We just need 49 more points. And then we're going to go train another level of Artisan. And we're down to 117,000 credits in the bank. So we definitely have to start doing something to make money at some point. That's just what this character has. So I think I allocated 300,000 when I started. Just a little bit of starting money. And 300,000 in this game is really nothing. So you can go through that quite quickly. If I wanted to kickstart this, I could go drop a couple million credits, buy a bunch of resources, and start crafting. But that cuts into our profit, and I don't really see us making any profit for a while. And now that we're working on surveying, I would like to get this character up to Master Artisan. Because once we get there, we can make swoops and speeder bikes. So we can start selling those. And those do sell. So that would help out greatly. And while we're brewing up some speeder bikes and gathering resources, we can actually log into our chef and make some food. And that does sell. So we can definitely pick up some Viserion brandy and sell that. And that should bring in some money and should bring in some customers. If we have a well-stocked vendor with food, that should probably help greatly in getting us the direction we need to go. And I have 3 crafters, which covers a good realm of what we've got. But if you play this game and you play on Basilisk and you're looking for a place to sell things, I'm more than happy to allow vendor space if you want it. And I'm not in a city, so there's no additional taxes. You just need to pay for your own vendor and take care of it. But we can work that out. I'm just throwing that out there that we're going to start promoting and we're going to start doing things and we're going to start bringing people in, hopefully. And if we do that, you could benefit from it as well if you had things you wanted to sell, but didn't want to set up a house for it. And it is possible for me to grant vendor access to someone so that they can put down a vendor and manipulate that vendor and all that fun stuff. So I did want to throw that out there that I definitely am not doing this to promote myself, and I'm not doing this to become the best that I can be, and I've already done that. It was very frustrating. It was worse than a full-time job. So I'm not looking to become a top tier crafter again. I'm just looking to become a respected crafter that makes good things. But I have chased the best of the best dragon before, and honestly, it took too much time. And we are going to want to put our speeder up here as well. So let's do that. And I'm guessing Tombstone would probably be the closest place to go to train. Maybe they have an artisan trainer there. I don't recall. I think Anchorhead does too, but it's kind of 50-50 as to where we are located. We're about halfway between both. So we'll go to Tombstone first. If Tombstone doesn't have an artisan trainer, we'll go shoot into Mos Eisley and train her up. South Eisley may have one as well. I don't know. I haven't really gone looking for an artisan trainer there. But on most things in Star Wars Galaxies, you can get away with overtraining and getting more experience. You can get up to twice what the box can hold in most cases. The differences with surveying, you are less likely to get a successful result if your skill is lower. So this is one of those cases where it's actually worth the time to go train it. Otherwise, you're probably missing out on half the experience that you could have been. And it is over here. Tombstone still is a very popular city. like that. What do we got? Architect. Rifleman. No basic trainers. Kind of a shame. Well, I'll tell you what, let's scoot over to South Isley, because if South Isley has one, then we can find a resource to sample there, and we don't have to go anywhere. It's actually kind of sad that I don't even need to look at the waypoints to find these places. You know you play a game too much when you don't have to look at the map anymore. You just go there. And I haven't played this for a very long time, and I still remember how to get there. Bounce back, rubber band. Okay. Let's see what we got. Their trainers are out front of the South Isley Mall. So we'll see what they got. If they don't have one, I'm not going to be heartbroken. If they do, it will be a great thing. And they've got squad leader, commando, TK, rifleman, bounty hunter, creature handler, brawler. Let's turn to our map. Let's go Artisan. Let's go down to South Isley. And let's zoom in, because I'm not seeing one. No, none of them have an Artisan trainer. Not the most popular thing in the world to be. So we'll follow the landing strip straight into Mos Eisley. And technically, we don't even need to leave Mos Eisley to sample, so we could definitely hang around town and master surveying and Artisan. It's not going to hurt us to be here. As long as there's a resource we can sample. Here's the basic trainers, the scout trainer, the medic trainer, the marksman trainer, scout trainer, brawler trainer. And Artisan is on this side with the entertainer trainer, right near the Bizarro crafting stations. So, Artisan trainer. Apparently we're too far away. Surveying. Bam. So now let's look at our mineral survey device. Using our alphabet. Do we get another option? We can search 128 meters now. So let's look for some steel in town. Maybe we'll get lucky. It's actually not bad. Not as good as the 80% we were on, but not having to run back and forth wouldn't be too bad. Okay, let's go to our resource survey, which is over here. Let's survey again. We're not going up very far, so I think we can fit between these buildings. Yes, we can. Shuttle. There's the food and chemical station. Structure station. Spent a lot of time there making Gungan heads. We're pretty well near the top of this, I guess. All right, let's see what kind of results we get. That is not a bad steel. See, we have 1,000 heat resistance, so see, it is possible. It's a Duralloy steel, so that's used for some specifics. It actually has pretty good stats. Actually really good. 980, 963, 1,000, 955. The thing that's going to let it down is the conductivity, which is commonly used, and some of the other things are going to drop the average, but hey, free stuff, so really can't complain. And we're actually getting a little more experience too, it looks like. But we need 2,500, so we need 100 more successful attempts. Of what we've, like, what, 200 successful attempts to get there? Not going to take forever, but certainly not going to hand itself over to us as quickly as we would like. Now, sampling in most of the towns is pretty safe. You're not going to get totally killed unless something runs through town, which does happen, but it's not as common. We're more likely to get killed out in the wild than we were here. Although we do have some pistol skill, and we do have some creatures that could watch us if we had to. Although the creatures that I have aren't terribly useful, so. Just could not finish bioengineer this time. Did not have it in me. But we're moving right along. 61 experience. So we will get there someday. Sooner the better, though. It would be nice to see that we don't actually get any recipes for surveying. We've already gained all of our recipes except for Master Artisan. So we've got to finish this to get there, because you need to fill every block to get these big blocks on top. This is all par for the course. But getting started is helpful. And having a master skill is very useful. So mastering Artisan will actually make this character productive in some ways. And I do still need to finish Droid Engineer, so we've got some more crafting to do. But my Droid Engineer is also an architect and is a master architect, so I can make pretty much any buildings or furniture that I want to make, which we will probably do next time, maybe, if we're making progress with this character and we can make speeders while the factory is running, making the speeders. I think you can still make speeders in a factory. We can make some furniture and perhaps get some food going as well. Now, I used to have a spreadsheet that listed what ingredients went into every item in the game. And based on that, I used to be able to look at what I had the most of and then pick something to make based on that. But I don't think I have that spreadsheet anymore. It's still valid because the game hasn't changed, but it'd be very nice to look at these berries and know why I have 300,000 units of berries and what I can do to get rid of them. But things in this game do not spoil, so they don't decay, they don't go away. So resources are forever. So you use them, and then the items that they make stick around, even though they can be destroyed to some degree. Usually you just have to repair them, but speeders aren't really repairable, so, well, it's not cost effective to repair a speeder in most cases. As you can see, even at 58%, we're hitting more regularly than we did at 88% with the level 1 skill, because we got 15 points of surveying, so our surveying skill mod is 20 or 35. So we have 35 points out of 100 to survey with. I think it's 100 they end up with. Roughly. The higher your skill mod, the more effective and efficient you are at doing what you're doing. Okay. And we're just going to continue doing this for a little while. I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover, though, so I don't know if there's any value. But this is building an Artisan. You have to do the drudge work. You have to mop the floors and bust the tables to start at the bottom to get to the top. Well, to get productive. You need resources to do things. And in order to get those resources, at least one of your artisans really should be a master artisan. Because they do make a lot of the components that you're going to use in other things. So you got the ship repair kit, you got a control unit, you got a GP module, memory module, energy distributor, micro sensor suite, bird cage, power conditioner, speeder bike, swoop, vehicle customization kit, and the X34 land speeder. So if you're not a master artisan, you cannot make those things, and some of those items are subcomponents of other things that need to be made. So it's handy to be able to make a thing of control units as a master artisan that you can use in your other crafts. But yes, this is the boring side of crafting. Getting the skills to do crafting, because sadly, like I keep saying, and I will probably illustrate in the next episode. If you are not a master of whatever you're trying to craft, unless the server you're on is new, you're probably not going to make it very far. Mostly because your stuff is going to be really subpar compared to the people who can actually use all their experimentation points, because you cannot experiment. Let's look at weaponsmith. Weaponsmith. So we get, at novice weaponsmith, we get 10 points of weapon assembly and 10 points of weapon experimentation. And keeping in mind, taking this to 100, that does not give us very much. So we get 1 experimentation point if I'm going to make a weapon item, which means we can increase 1 field, 1 point, and that's it. And that differentiates good weapons from bad weapons, because you can get 10 or 11 points, even more, if you get the right skill tapes and the right stuff going and the right foods. Increase your chances of success, your chances of critical success. So a lot of things that can come into play based on what you're trying to make. But for making gun barrels and whatnot, we just want the best quality we can make without experimenting on them, because it takes too long. And we're doing it in practice mode, so 100,000 barrels are going to get flushed down the dump, and nobody's going to be the wiser of it. It's up to you guys to watch me do it. I don't know that I'll do all 100,000 on the video. That would probably be extremely boring, because I really can't talk much when I'm running 6 to 8 crafting tools at once. I do tend to get a little distracted. But hey, that's a great time for a training montage or hyperspeed. So I might do a couple and then 4x over everything. But out of all this time, we are 256 out of 2,500. So we've got quite a long ways to go. And I could do this in my spare time, to be honest. So I'm probably going to do that. I'm probably going to end this episode now so that you could see what progress we're making and that this project is not dead and we are doing something. And then tomorrow I'll come back and we'll actually get on some of my crafters that can actually make items and go over some of that. Probably work on Droid Engineer a little bit, although Droid Engineer is not my strong point. I mastered Droid Engineer on live, but I never actually made a whole lot of actual droids when I was doing it, because I was only doing it for Jedi. So we're going to learn what's important about being an architect and a droid engineer and a chef and a merchant and a tailor tomorrow. That sounds like a good idea. And see where we go from there. But I'm going to go ahead and end this now, because surveying is boring and you don't want to watch it. And I don't want to have to continue to ramble on about nothing. So I would like to actually do something active. Tomorrow we're going to check our harvester. I will probably do that before I start recording so that I can get whatever out of it that we can get and get that processed into our inventory. And then I will do some more surveying and try to get this next level and see. We'll probably be Master Artisan by this weekend if I play off and on with this character. And the other characters pretty much are already masters anyway, so they can make stuff. So we're going to make a bunch of stuff and start setting up some vendors maybe. I might have to do a little prep and move some money around, because vendors cost money. But as a master merchant, I can explore the entire realm of what you can do with advertising and whatnot, so we can go over that. And I've got access to every single vendor type you can have, so we can explore those and see the differences. And we can cover what happens when you sell something, if I can find somebody to volunteer to come buy something from me. So we might have to do that for the next day. So if you want to stop by and visit the house, I will post the description. I'll add in the description where the house is located, and you can I'll put the waypoint coordinates in there so you can make your own waypoint. You can stop by, and if anybody is around when I'm playing, we will cover what happens when people buy stuff. So if I can get a volunteer, we'll do that. But that's all dependent on getting a volunteer. Anyway, till tomorrow, when we get more stuff done and start building our empire to overcome the actual empire, maybe we could overthrow them financially. Then we'll see how that goes. And I don't think it's going to go very far. But it's worth a shot, right? Buy our independence and freedom. Make a name for ourselves. And all that fun stuff that being an artisan entails. Because this game is your story. You can play it however you want to play it. If you want to be a pirate, you can be a pirate. If you want to be a merchant, you can be a merchant. If you want to go hit things with a stick, you can hit things with a stick all day long. If you want to make a band of roving Wookiees that verbally assaults people, you can do that as well. Wouldn't be the first ones. Probably not going to be the last. Anyway, until tomorrow, guys, drop your suggestions on things you'd like to learn about or see or whatnot, and I'll try to focus on those. But unfortunately, being an artisan is not all fun and games, and it's not all action and running around all day. Sometimes you just got to sit here and pick up some rocks, sift through somebody's garbage, and pull out the useful stuff like we're doing right now, because apparently we're in an alley. And based on that, you get your good items out of there. Okay, that's it for me today. Tune in tomorrow for more of our artisan story. I'll see you guys then. Take it easy. Thanks for watching.